Okay, so this is Baruch here. I'm at the Tikkun elevator call. Let me see if I can get there. We go. There's our page here. Let me move some of this stuff away. And let's get on to what we were learning the last time. And that is we're going to go to the eighth house. Now, he previously, that Rav Yaakov had previously talked about the eighth house in relationship with the fifth house. So he says, and the eighth house, the house of death and suffering, is the secret enemy of the house of religion and philosophy. The main question against religion is always why bad things happen to good people. Why do good people suffer? Because some of the most righteous people sometimes suffer too. So the suffering is the secret enemy of religion and takes people off the path sometimes. And many people turned away from the Jewish religion due to the Holocaust, saying that God didn't save all the kids and other innocent people. And these are hard questions to answer. So it's not just that Scorpio is a complicated sign, a complicated house, and death and suffering are part of it. But there's other things besides that, which are on a more positive side. It's also the side of procreation, and it's the side of, well, just having things coming to you. So let's go on to the next house, and the next, the secret enemy of death. Now, he's calling it because death, I think that they say that Scorpio is death and rejuvenation, or what's rather coming back. So that's Scorpio. And the secret enemy of death is partnership. The partnership is Libra. The person not being alone in the world, escaping death by having his partner. So, so let me read that again. Just let me show you here. Let me get it around. Where are we here? Here. So here is your eighth house. The secret enemy of the eighth house, which is Scorpio. You should be able to read that. I'm really sorry about it. But you know, I work. I This is not I don't know, highly funded operation, so this is just me. Is Libra. So why should Scorpio be a problem with Libra? Why should Libra be a problem for Scorpio? Scorpio is, he says, is death. What's Libra? So let's see if I can find back where the secret enemy of death is partnership. What's partnership got to do with Libra? The person not being alone in the world, escaping death by having his partner. So the person escapes death by having a partner. As we said, the person is born alone and dies alone, but shouldn't spend his life alone. Having a good partner overcomes the fear of death. It sort of obscures you to death, so you don't think about it so much. So here he's telling me that Libra is the concept of sharing partners. Yeah, it's a social sign. And the secret enemy of marriage, right? So that's, he says that Libra is a concept of marriage. Libra is the concept of Eve, right? She's the opposite of Adam, who is Aries. She's Libra. So the next sign is going to be Virgo. So Libra and Virgo. Who's the secret enemy of Libra? Count 12 houses. Go around. Here we come to Virgo. The secret enemy of marriage is illness. Illness is the sixth house, that of Virgo, the house of health. For many people, their marriage goes well until one of them falls seriously ill, which destroys the marriage. That is, besides the open enemy of fighting each other and not getting along. But the obstacle which you don't know about until it happens is when one of the partners becomes chronically ill and the marriage can't function properly. So he's saying like this: Libra is the sign of marriage, of weddings, of putting things together, of balance. It's the middle line. Virgo, on the other hand, could be ill, could take away from Libra. So he says that the secret entry of the seventh is the fifth house, the house of pleasure and love. Now, let me see if I got this right. That might be a misprint. So he says, let me go back. And the secret ending, the seventh of the marriage of the seventh is the sixth house, that of Virgo, the house of health. For many people, their marriage goes well until one of them falls seriously ill, which destroys the marriage. That is besides the open enemy of fighting each other and not getting along, which is part of what happens with whoever your spouse is. But in the case of his spouse, as a Libra Dicta idea, he says that people are joined together. But what happens when you marry, when you have behind it, is a possibility of breaking up the partnership as a result of ill health. So he said, but the obstacle which you don't know about until it happens is when one of the partners becomes chronically ill and the marriage can't function properly. Now, this I think is a misprint, and I think it should be the sixth house. You be the judge, but I think this is right because the sixth house is Virgo. So Virgo is okay. We say it's the sign of health. Okay, so health is an issue in Virgo, and the secret enemy of the health, which is the sixth house, is the fifth house, the house of pleasure and love, which is Leo, our king. And as the rabbi says, most people fall ill due to too much pleasure, especially sex. So that's Leo over here who likes all of this really good, rich food, rich life, rich sex. So that's what Leo really likes. But Virgo, on the other hand, is not good for Virgo. So Virgo falls to that. So he says, and as the rabbi said, most people fall ill due to too much pleasure, especially sex. So the fifth house, which is the house of Leo, let's turn the page here. So the fifth house inclination of going after the pleasures especially leads to ruining the health. Clearly, we know that too much eating and drinking and too much sex can destroy the person's health. Now, so that's very interesting. Now, the secret enemy of the fifth house, let me see, where am I? So he says the secret enemy of the fifth house, let's find the fifth house. We're a little lost here. Okay, here's the fifth house, Leo. Is going to be the fourth house, which is Cancer. Well, so Cancer is the home, so what should be a problem here? He says that Leo is a fire sign and Cancer is a water sign. So you can see there's a theme between the two of them in that sense. But let's see what Reb Yaakov says. And the secret enemy of the fifth house, which is Leo, is the home, fourth house. Why? Because the parents are, in a certain sense, a difficulty to the children, because they restrain them from breaking free. So in other words, the parents could be over here in Leo, and they want to get out there and have a good time and enjoy themselves, but they have a home. And inside the home is their children. The children are demanding. They sort of hold the child back. So therefore, there's a struggle between the child and the parents. Now, I might be getting mixed up as to which one's the parents. Let's read again. Secret enemy of the children, which is the fifth house, which is Leo in the chart of the first man, is the home. Why? Because the parents are, in a certain sense, a difficulty to the children because they restrain them from breaking free. So I guess he wants to say that the parents are the Cancer. The Cancer is the home. That's the parents. So he said they sort of hold the child back. He says at this time when he was writing this, I'm 60 years old and my parents still treat me as a kid because that is how it is. So he says sometimes, in a certain sense, the parents hold their children back from developing the way they should, and the secret enemy, so that's a period. So he says that the parents represents the Cancer, is the fourth house, and Cancer, the fourth house is the parents. They represent a problem for Leo, which is the kids, and the secret enemy of the home, the fourth house is Cancer is Gemini. Now, here we go again. So let's go back to our chart. Where are we here? Or here's Cancer. So right after Cancer comes Gemini. Count 12 this way and you get the Gemini. So Gemini basically is an enemy. Now, why should that be? Cancer's a water sign. Gemini is an air sign. These two don't mix that well. That I can see in that sense. Let's see what Rabbi Yaakov says. The secret enemy of the home, which is the fourth house, is Cancer, is Gemini, which is the third house, which is the house of the neighbors and also the house of the siblings. Every home has its own path in life, its own way of looking at things and teaching the children. Okay, every family is like that. And when children make friends with the neighbor's children, which is the third house, that's Gemini now. He says the neighbors are Gemini. He says each may develop ways different to what they were taught at the fourth house. So the fourth house, which wants to be, I guess you would say, my understanding of this, here's the fourth house. The fourth house wants to be stable, but it lives next door, the 12 houses away, is Gemini. Gemini is something else, is neighbors, different mentalities, different homes. That's what we said. So he said, let's go over here and let's see a little bit. And we're taught, and that is the beginning of the child leaving the home. And the secret ending of the third house. Now let's go to the third house. Now again, as we're moving along, the third house, which we said is the house of neighbors and children, of siblings. And the secret ending of the third house is the second house. The third house, that of Gemini, the twins, is the house of learning, the revealed Torah and secret Torah. So that's very interesting. It's a mercurial sign. It's this house of learning the revealed Torah and the secret Torah, all of what is worldly and all that is mystical, while its secret enemy is the house of money. Now, we had to read this again because it's paramount in my life at any rate. He says the secret enemy of the third house. And then he defines the third house like this. But he says the secret enemy of the house is the second house. Now, it defines the third house. The third house, which is Gemini, it's the concept of the twins. So it's multiple. Is the house of learning. It's the house of learning the revealed Torah and the secret Torah. So in other words, learning takes place. Gemini's learn all what is worldly and all that is mystical, while its secret enemy is the house of money. Now, what does money have to do with learning? Because a person has to work in order to earn money. And if he wants to learn Torah the whole day, then where will he earn the money from? So the secret enemy of the third house is the second house. You want to have children who are going to be Talmidei Chachamim, you better find some money, because that's what it takes. Otherwise, they'll wind up going to work like you. So he says, and the secret enemy of the second house is the first house. What's that all about? Why should that be? Now, the second house is Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. So first of all, we compare, let's find Taurus. Where it is, here it is. So Taurus is an earth sign. So earth sign is compared to Gemini, which is this house before, where it is the enemy of Gemini, is Gemini's air, intellect. Taurus is earth. These two really have no interaction. Then the next one is Taurus in relationship to Aries, which is the first house, which is you. So the second house relates to that. Now, one of the things I should add is we're finishing this up, is that this is the chart of Adam Rishon, the first man. And as a result of that, everything else really follows this pattern as well, even though that your ascendant may not be Aries, maybe your ascendant is Leo. But the basic plan that's underneath it is the plan of the first man. So you'll always have a second house. The second house is always going to be the money house, to the house of Taurus. So we could learn it that way. So he says that Taurus, the enemy of Taurus is Aries. So why would that be? So where we are, and the secret enemy of the second house is the first house. The person himself, that is, who may make mistakes in taking care of his money and has the ability to lose it, so that you yourself have money, you don't have money, it becomes a problem. And more than that, you can't take the money with you once you die, as I read in an audio book I was listening to. It says that coffins don't have pockets. And more than that, you can't take the money with you once you die. So the physical body is in a way the secret enemy of the wealth, because the wealth won't go with the body. That's what it is. So that's the shear here. This is Baruch Fleischman. This is the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. And we are learning Reb Yaakov Kronenberg's tremendous book, Jewish Astrology, A Cosmic Science.